Good morning.
Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning. Welcome to another episode of I.Am.She. We are here this morning. Rising late, but we here. We available. Late risings.
I know we are late because
I'm tired though. It's okay. It happens. I'm tired. Good morning, guys. I always want to say, ain't the weather nice? But because I'm in a different state, I feel like I don't know what the weather is anywhere else. But it's hot as hell here already, and it's only, 11 o'clock? I'm out here sweating. Like I've been jogging this morning, and I have not. But anyway, happy Saturday. I don't have too much going on this Saturday. I don't have too much going on this Saturday. It's supposed to rain, so I don't have too much going on. I'm back. Down here with BlackRoses. I guess she preparing herself. Who knows? Last week I was at
the way that my
my
plugs are in this apartment are upside down, and these stupid plugs irritate me because it's the hardest thing to plug anything into. And I'm like, why are all the freaking outlets upside down? And it pisses me off. I'm trying to
Well, I'm back this week, guys. Last week I was at my son's first official track meet, and he did very well. He has never ran track before, but he did extremely good. And I'm not saying that because of being a parent. He really did good. Like he, the competition was for several schools from elementary to high school across Florida. So it was a big competition. And what was I think it was 400 the 400-mile dash. He came in 6th place.
400 meters.
Yeah, 400-meter. I'm sorry, 400-meter dash.
Because I was going to say, he was running 400 miles. He's still running.
No, 400 meters. The 400-meter dash, he came in 6th place out of over 60 some kids. He came in 6th place out of 60 some kids, which was really good. He still came in the top for a lot of them, like the 200-mile dash.
Meter.
The 200-mile meter dash. I don't know why I keep saying miles. I don't know why I keep saying miles. I need to wake up. That's the issue. Let me just wake up and start over. So the 200-meter dash, he came in. I can't remember what place he came in, but he was pretty decent at his running speed compared to a lot of people. Like he was at, I think that one was 13. I want to say 13.9 seconds. 13.9 seconds. The top runner was 11 point something seconds. So he wasn't that far off the number one runner. And then the 100-meter dash, he came in, I can't remember where he came in there. He came in really low. He came in at maybe like, I think 38 out of like 60 some runners. He came in like 38, which is kind of his fault because he got confused. He did not know that he was supposed to, he had another teammate that he was running next to. They put them, so it was so many kids, they had to break them up. So many kids, they had to break them up into sets of 5 or 6. And he said, I said, Kylie, why did you slow down? I seen you like kind of slow down, like you had to think about it. Like he was in front, but then he started jogging. And I'm like, Kylie, why? I don't feel like you just ran your fastest. And he was like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to run past my teammate. I said, oh my God. So, that first one, I was okay. I didn't fuss at him. I didn't do all the first one. But he was like, I didn't know I had next to me. Like I was supposed to pass him. I said, okay, pay attention. I don't care if they pay you in any of these other races coming up. I don't care who they pay you with. Go past everybody. Pass, go like Monopoly. Pass everybody. Don't stop. Don't look for your teammate. Don't wait. It ain't you running against everybody. Y'all not on teams. I mean, y'all on teams, but y'all not on teams. It's about your speed. So just go. Take off as fast as you can. So by that second one and then that last one, he was going. He was going. He literally is right now, he's the fastest runner on his team. So he did really good. It was a lot of kids out there, and those kids, even the little babies, it was little kids out there that looked like they might have been like 4 or 5, and they was out there running their little heart out. They did like, I think like 3 laps. I don't know what that meter run was, but they did like 3 laps. I think it was like 15. I can't remember. I'm not. Don't quote me, because if you were running, you like what are you talking about? Don't quote me. But they did 3 laps, and they won't look like they were only about 6 or 7, or maybe like 3 or 4. Well, I'm not gonna say 3 or 4, maybe like 5 or 6. They were so adorable, but they just kept going. It was amazing to me, like how they kept running around that track, and that track was huge. And they ran around there like 3 times, and they started. You could tell them babies started getting tired because it was hot out there. We in Florida. But what I will say is that what I did find out is Florida has the highest competitive rate when it comes to runners, and they're because the best trainers down there, the best coaches, the best trainers. I don't care what y'all say. I feel like they do, so I'm gonna stick with it. I ain't switching up on Baltimore. I'm from Baltimore, but guess what? I feel like they do because them runners was getting it out there. But yeah, it was really fun. We have a meet next week. We have another meet in Orlando. It's a bigger race because there's more teams coming out across Florida. So it's a bigger race. So we've been training for that. And when I get off of here, we're going to go do a little bit of training. He has been doing some training on his own. I like it. I think this is something that he's going to stick to, along with the coach did tell us that this is something that he can get a scholarship off of. Not even being the fastest, you can actually get a scholarship for jumping hurdles. I didn't know that. Just jumping hurdles. You don't even have to be the fastest anymore. You can get a scholarship based off of your hurdle jumps. So this is something that I feel like as long as he sticks to it, he likes it. I'm not forcing him like Gemma. She had the whole issue. I don't want to go. I don't want to cheerlead. He likes it. He's having fun. And the only reason I put him in track, if you are a parent with a child with autism, that is one of the recommended sports for a child with autism, because it's not, if you think about it, if you have a child with autism and you think about it, you give them too many instructions, it's going to confuse them. So a lot of sports ain't made for them. um, it's straightforward. It ain't too many instructions. It's just like, this is what you have to do, go. And if you have, like I said, if you have a child with autism and ADHD like I do, think about it. The ADHD part, it burns that hyperactive part of it. It burns that off because they running and they're not concentrating on too much. You're not telling them you got to pick up the ball, you got to run over here, you got to grab this, you got to go. It's just straightforward. Just go. They said running and swimming are two of the best sports if you have a child with autism and ADHD. So I like it. That's just an FYI. If anybody's interested, anybody's looking for, sports that they want their child to be in, but they're not too sure because they have, social issues and things of that sort. But it was good. It was good. I'm here for it. I could be a track mom.
Okay, track mother. That's good. Congratulations to him and all of his. I'm sick of this kid and everything that he got going on. It's a little rain. It was rainy yesterday. I don't know if it's gonna rain today. It's a little cloudy right now. Hopefully, it does not rain today. I pray it doesn't. Not that I have anything to do anyway, but hey, it is what it is.
I actually do. I kind of want to go to Daytona. They have a huge, water park up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking I might go either today or tomorrow. I'm not sure because Gemma has been asking me for 2 weeks about getting her nails done. So I'm trying to think, should I just wait until tomorrow? They said it's going to rain, but so far it's hot as heck. So I don't know where the rain is coming from. So I feel like I don't want to drive all the way to Daytona and then it pour down raining. And you know, the water parks, they hear lightning and thunder, they closing that thing down and you done wasted your money.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, how was the back to the what is it, back to the
Black to the Future.
Black to the Future? Yeah,
It
how was
was amazing. We had a great time. Nate did an amazing job at being facilitator for the night. He had a really great presentation about marketing and how he can help people market their business or start up their business. It was really nice. As you know, they was giving away a $500 grant to 2 people, and I.Am.She won the grant. Yay! Won one of the grants. The other person, her name is Whitney, and she owns a book club. She won the other grant. I am now a part of her book club, which is amazing. But yes, I.Am.She won that $500 grant towards whatever event we will be hosting this year, which is amazing.
Yay!
Congratulations to I.Am.She. It was a really nice night. The food was amazing. I can't forget. I can't remember her name, but I know they call her Mama. Mama has
Oh
really.
yeah, I remember her from the last one.
She did some really good food. It was amazing. Art the art social club is really doing amazing things. Even Shinyear and Nate and Chelsea, who is also a part of the Black Arts District, they are doing really amazing things with the revitalization of the whole Pennsylvania Avenue area. They're trying to revitalize that whole area, make it more artsy, make it like how it was back in the day when all the singers and everybody used to be down there doing their thing. So shouts out to Nate, Shinyear, and Chelsea for doing big things with Black Arts District. You guys should check out their Instagram, check out their website. They have thousands. They have a lot of grants that they give out monthly grants, up to $10,000 for an event for right here in Baltimore City. So if you guys have anything that you have planned, if you have your business that you want to start up or whatever it may be, check out the Black Arts District, apply for one of their many grants, and just go to some of their events. They have great events, wonderful events. And this past Saturday, the event at the Art Social Club was really, really nice. Like I said, Nate did an amazing job of being the facilitator. And shouts out to Nate because he is definitely a man of many hats, many hats. So, but yeah, it was really cool. It was really nice. I had a great time. Met some new people, met some great people, and yeah, met a lot of new people, and I really enjoyed myself. I really did.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. That sounds like it was fun and interesting. I want to know, with you saying, that I.Am.She won one of the grants, I would be really interested for the audience to tell us what type of event they think would be good for I.Am.She.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
A
that's a
public
good
event. I
what
think that would
public
be
event would be
awesome.
great. Yeah. What type of event, if you guys would like to see us be a part of, what type of event would you like to see us host or even give? We are definitely looking for more ideas and more people to bring your ideas and give us some thoughts of whatever you may think we should do or be a part of. That would be great. A couple people have reached out to me about doing some of their events with us hosting it or coming out and just broadcasting and things of that nature. So it will be really interesting to see how everything goes. But we're definitely looking to reboot the retreat, which is definitely on the menu for this
Absolutely.
year. Getting that retreat off the ground. And Nate has been a great person in helping me figure out what I want to do, how I want to do it, and things of that nature. So I'm interested to see. I also met John Tyler. Oh my God, he is an amazing person. I did not know he was that damn young, number one.
Mm-hmm.
He could be my child. He could be my child.
That's why Jessica on here. That's who Jessica started off with for her music.
I know. I was telling him, I was like, we were trying to get you on the show last year, but he was like, yeah, just hit me. You go, I'm available more now. And I'm like, good. And they have they have their second annual, I guess, Love Groove Festival coming up in August this year. He said this year it's at Roosevelt Park, which is over in like the Falls Road area. Over that way somewhere. I kind of know what I think he's talking about, but I have to really Google it to see. But yeah, he was telling me all the great things that he's done, you know, with his record label and just great things. He's a great musician. Oh, it was just amazing.
And he'll talk to you. He'll talk
to you. He definitely will talk.
When I first started our record label, that's one of the first people Jessica, you know, had him reached out to him for me. And that's one of the very first people I talked to when I first started my record label. Mm-hmm. And when you have people like that, like Nate and things like that, people like that that's in that a certain stature and they are willing to give you their information, to share that information, I mean, it's a different feeling because everybody don't want to share their information. Some people want to keep it to themselves and be like, I don't know you. I ain't got too much to tell you. But I feel like so far people with I.Am.She, I mean, across the board, like have been so welcoming and, you know, offer great advice as to where they stall it. They're willing to sit down with you and talk to you and just give you advice that you need to really grow and do, you know, what we're trying to do, which is to make it. But
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he's really awesome. I mean, he's really nice, great spirit.
Yeah, I met a lot of great people throughout the whole entire night. You know, great people, great musicians, great singers, great record label. A lot of people own their own record labels. A lot of people are trying to get into the music business. I met a lot of rappers. I met a lot of people that night, and it was really nice.
That's what I needed to be at. Shoot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that one.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was definitely geared a lot towards artists. So there was definitely a lot of artists in the building. Definitely a lot of rappers. Definitely a lot of singers. I met this one girl who's an amazing singer. I wanted to. I'm gonna try to get her on the show sometime soon. She reached out to me as well. It was a lot of people I met. Great people. People.
That sounds like it sounds like it turned out really good. I think more people come out. I think the biggest thing is, especially in Baltimore, is that people come out more when it gets warmer. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing. More people come out the warmer it gets, which is a great thing. I really like. I don't know. It sounds like it was amazing. It sounds like it turned out good. I'm glad you at least got to attend. I feel like I want to move back to Baltimore, but then I look at Murder Inc. and I be like, I'm good.
Yeah, Baltimore is definitely a unique place. I love it here. I tell people all the time. I really love it here. I was
thinking about it a little bit. I was like, maybe I'll go back to Baltimore and buy a house, but I can't. I don't know. It's just a lot. It's got its ups and downs. Like, you know, when you tell people you're from Baltimore, it's like they're like, oh, you from Baltimore? You stay there? You da 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 da. But it just depends on what area you stay in, and it depends on what you get yourself into. It depends on the situations that you put yourself into. And I hate that stereotype that when you tell people you from Baltimore, you're like, oh, you from Baltimore, you from that ghetto place, da, 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 da. It just depends on what people really put what people's situations are, what they put their own self into. It's not just like you walk out your front door and bam. I mean, there are instances, but that's everywhere. There are instances where people just walk outside and they just in the crossfire, but that's everywhere. That's across the United States. That's across the country. You know, we see that everywhere. I don't know. I'm in between.
Yeah, you
'Cause
definitely see crime everywhere. It's just that, when you in a place, you think it's like, oh my God, it's only a place like this. But you have other major cities who we don't see about, who we don't talk about, who we don't even know exist. Some of them, we don't see what their crime looks like. And we all say that for every different reason. Get your kids out of this city. Get your kids out of this city. But it's just really like, Baltimore's a unique place. I love it here. I love it
because
here.
a lot of, if you think about it, look at a lot of the politicians in Baltimore. A lot of the politicians raise their kids in the city and are still raising their kids in the city. It's just how they have, their self set up. Like they raise their kids in the city, but they might go to a private school or a Catholic school, and they raise their kids in the city, but they don't allow their kids to roam the streets when they get out of school. They find things for them to do, to be active in, so that they don't have just to roam the streets when they get out of school. So it's all about, parenting too, and it's all about, you really just, because I never really had a problem with, staying in Baltimore. The only thing I can say, the difference that I'm seeing in Florida that I didn't see in Maryland, which again, it depends on every school. Every school is different. Is the education is just tad more better. And the reason why I feel like I'm starting to realize is that even though the politics and everybody, when it comes to Florida, everybody's like, oh, the politicians will steer me away. They always trying to ban something in Florida. But when it comes to the education here, baby, they put that on the forefront. They put that on the forefront when it comes to making sure their kids, outside of, those little things like throwing out, the history, the African American history, things like that. But when it comes to just prepping your kids for a better future, for, going off to college and stuff like that, they really put their focus in early. Like,
They do.
my son David, who was in the ninth grade, they already have him looking at colleges when he came in. Now he started off in Middle River, then we moved to North Carolina. This is all within the span of 1 year. So I've got to see each school and what each state's education had to offer. And when we got to Florida, it's just a different, like it's a difference. Like I said, they've already have him looking at colleges. They continue to offer so many programs for him to participate in during the summertime, as far as, like early college credit, early college. And I feel like one of the things I noticed from my own personal experience from being a student in Baltimore is that they really, and I'm not saying that's all teachers, I'm not saying that's every school, but what I noticed from my own experience was when it came to kids, pushing them and having them on a good path and having them set the way they are doing my son, it's like the kids that stick out. If you quiet and you shy, even though you're doing everything you need to do, you're getting the grades that you get, they really don't pay attention to you. You really kind of get passed over, is what I see. You kind of get passed over. You have to basically make a whole name for yourself on top of getting good grades, or you're looked over. You're passed over. And I like the fact that they focus on every individual child here. They start them early, even in middle school. They passing out stuff in middle school, and elementary school, and Cameron school, and elementary school. He had a homework assignment where they send home, and they have the kids focusing on budgeting and finances. This is in elementary school. Finances, investing, things like that. So I don't know. I can say it works for me. It don't work for everybody, because I did read where some people, like I think it was Dwayne Wade used to stay here in Florida, and he said it just wasn't the place for his kids, because he had black kids, and then he had his daughter, who was his son. Um, because of the politics, he just didn't feel like it was a safe haven for them to stay, so they moved away. But I guess it all depends on, again, same thing with Baltimore. It all depends on what area you stay in, what part you stay in. So I don't know. I can't hear you.
My whole computer was on mute. I'm so sorry. My whole computer. I'm discombobulated. I woke up at literally 10:58. And I had to hurry up and get myself together. I woke up at 10:58. I'm exhausted. But yeah, I think that Florida has some good things about it and some bad things. Like you said, the politics is definitely outweighing the good or the bad. But I think that for the most part, when it comes to schools, more southern schools, as you get further down south, they take schooling a little bit more serious than what they do in some of these other areas, especially in some of the inner city parts too. Because I'm interested to see, even like with Miami, I'm interested to see like what are their school systems like? What is it like going to school there?
And it all depends on where, and it all depends on where you stay, because like even at Daytona, visiting certain areas in Daytona, when Daytona is the hop, skip, and jump for us, and Daytona is like going from Middle River to Dundalk. That's how far Daytona is from where we're at. So we go to Daytona like we going to Dundalk, like we going to Walmart or the flea market from Middle River. So and you go in certain areas in Daytona, and you like, I don't think I want to stay here. You see Baltimore, I don't want to say you see Baltimore. I don't want to make it a bad name for Baltimore, but you see like the inner city of Daytona. But then where David works at in Daytona, you have nice neighborhoods, like where Kylie had his track meet. It was like country. It was like all country, farm, ranch houses, things like that. So it all just depends on the area that you move into. I don't want to necessarily say, oh, you can't move to no, you can't move to the state because the state too racist. Even in Mississippi, it depends on the area that you move into. It's really not based on the state. It just depends on the area within the state. Even Texas. People say Texas is one of the second most racist places, for black, when it comes to black people. But Texas, surprisingly to me, is becoming more biracial than I've ever seen. It's so many biracial couples. Every time I turn around, Texas is taking over with its biracial and mixed, black and white couples, or married black and white, husbands and wives. I mean, they are really, broadening, and it just, like I said, it just depends on where you stay.
Okay. Well, let's get into these topics, Shanna.
Yeah, because we got all the way off subject. But I don't know what you want to talk about. The first topic is let's talk about the baby box drop-offs. The baby box drop-off. So they have,
when a parent walks up to one of our Safe Haven baby boxes, first thing that they're going to do is open the outside door. An orange bag is going to fall out with resources for the parents. They're going to place their newborn inside, shut the door, and then they're going to walk away. From the inside, you can see babies being placed inside the medical bassinet that has a heating unit inside. It's alarm activated. First responders are notified.
I did a project on this or something on this before. I can't remember.
What happened? I only seen half the video.
I don't know. I can't remember what I did.
Nate, is that it? That's the end of the video? Oh, no, I thought it explained the video, the whole thing. All right, so what it is it's kind of like, how can I describe this baby box drop?
It's kind of like dropping your baby off at the fire station without the bassinet.
Right.
Back in the day. It's kind of like, I can't do this anymore with my kid. I want to just drop this baby off and call it a day. That's really what
but with a deposit kind of concept, like a bank deposit kind of concept. Because you open the little thing. If you watch the video, you push the little button, it opens the little door. You put the baby in like the little what is it?
Window.
The little bassinet thing that they have. You said, what is it called?
It's like a little window. You put the baby in like the little
window. You put the baby in a little window, but on the other side where you put
when a parent walks up to one of our Safe Haven baby boxes, first thing that they're going to do is open the outside door. An orange bag is going to fall out with resources for the parents. They're going to place their newborn inside, shut the door, and then they're going to walk away. From the inside, you can see babies being placed inside the medical bassinet that has a heating unit inside. It's alarm activated. First responders are notified.
When you drop the baby off, and it gives the parents, it drops out a little packet for the parents who are dropping babies off. They just give them resources and things like that. It's like a little orange bag that I saw dropped out, and it gives them different resources for them to, look into themselves as far as just like taking care of themselves. But then it has, like I said, on the inside, it has like a little heat in. And there's actually a buzzer or some type of alarm that alerts the workers that are inside of that building when somebody drops off a baby. So the baby's not just sitting in the box all night waiting for somebody to pick them up. Great idea, bad idea. What you think?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, I would rather them do that than to kill a baby or to leave them somewhere by themselves. I would much, much rather them do that, have a little drop box for them to put the little baby in and keep on going. If you can't do it, then I get it. And I think I can't remember what the heck I did this. I don't know if this was what I was in when I was going to CCBC or something. Anyway, I vividly remember this. I remember this from a while ago, but I can't remember what the heck I remember it from. But yeah, I had did something on like a project or something on that when it came down to kids. I think for one of my either one of my education classes, I can't remember. Either way it go. Yeah, I think it's a great idea because a lot of these people need that instead of killing the kids or taking them somewhere that they don't want to be or dropping them off at somebody's house who really don't want them. I would much rather them figure out what they need or how to get what they need. But if this is the next best thing than to killing them,
I feel like for me, the whole scenario with the fire station, I feel like that's more intimidating. I feel like this is better because a lot of people, it'll deter them from going to the fire department because you actually have to physically, it depends on the situation, I guess, because some people just want to get rid of the baby. But it's a chance that somebody might see you dropping them off at the fire station versus this. Nobody's seeing you. I mean, you're still out there and it's still in the opening somewhat, but it still has its disclosures. You know what I mean? Like you don't have somebody, just looking like, oh my God, and having to interact with a person is what I'm trying to say, I guess. You don't have to really interact with a person, and you can do that, and it's kind of free of shame, whatever your situation may be. Because I watch so many documentaries and things like that on homelessness and homeless people, and I mean there are so many pregnant homeless women out here. You'd be surprised how many pregnant homeless women there are out here, and you don't know their situation.
You'd be surprised how many pregnant women out here on drugs. That's
right. Absolutely, but and that's the thing, you don't know their situation and how they ended up pregnant. They may have got raped while they were out there, living on the streets, and now they're stuck with this baby, so you really don't know their situation. So I think that's a good thing for them. And plus, it's like I said, you're not just leaving a baby in an alleyway or in the trash can or something like that, and the baby's freezing overnight. If you're in a cold state, the baby's freezing overnight. And then the other great thing about it that, I think the dropping them off at the fire station didn't offer was the ability that they give the information, and they give, references and things like that. The little bag that drops out, that gives them resources, not references, that gives them resources that they can look into themselves and try to get the help that they need, themselves, without having to physically talk to somebody. And some people, I think that's the biggest thing, is the shame. It's the shame, and they don't want to talk to anybody. They don't want nobody judging them. So it's like, what do? I don't want to be seen. Some people just fear, they don't want to get in trouble because they just don't want their baby. They don't want to get in trouble. You know, people just don't know. So I think that's a great idea. I like it. They said they have them across several different states. I have to look into the references to see what other states they are.
I wonder if they will put some here in Baltimore. I wonder if they'll put some here, because we definitely need some here, especially with, like you said, with the homeless population, the amount of women that's on drugs, the amount of women who, you know, thought something was going to be something and it wasn't. It's just, it's a lot, you know. And I really think they need to be everywhere. But then that would probably be a problem or something within itself, because you would just probably see how can I say it? You will probably see an increase in the number of babies being dropped off in these boxes. Like, I think it will definitely be become problematic more so than to help people, especially in these inner city areas where you have young girls who are probably getting pregnant and can't keep the baby. You have all of those different.
Do you think it would be an alternative? Do you think it would present itself more as an alternative, like a second alternative, that like with abortion,
like an abortion? I think it would definitely be a second. I think it'd be a second alternative to abortion, because a lot of girls, like I said, it could be a lot of teenage girls who are getting pregnant and can't tell their families, or don't know how to tell their families that they're pregnant, and will drop the kid off and just be like, you know, I'm out of here. I ain't got to deal with it, you know. That's why I said I definitely think you will see an increase in that number, you know, teen pregnancies, like, where young girls dropping them off and going, especially in inner city areas. You will definitely see an increase of that in these inner city areas.
I hate it when it's always referenced to inner city. No. Like, I don't know. I'm like Gemma. Gemma told me the other day, she said, "Mommy, I know what I want to be when I grow up." "What do you want to be?" "I want to be a police officer." I said, "Wait, what? You want to be a police officer?" But she definitely not gonna be a police officer. I would never push my daughter to be a police officer. I don't care what y'all
Why not? Ain't nothing wrong with being a police officer.
If you're watching it and you're a police officer, you feel offended, I don't care.
It's nothing wrong with her being a police officer. What's wrong with her being a police officer?
I would promote her to go in the army before I promote her to go be a police officer. Now, somewhere like the retirement town, like these police around here in Palm Coast, they don't do nothing. They really don't do nothing.
She might can make a difference. You don't know. Why wouldn't you push her?
This is the thing. That's why I'm saying that. I'm saying that to say, I asked her why she wanted to be a police officer. She said because she wanted to save the world. That's why she said it. She said, I want to save the world. And it's crazy because that's how I feel when I hear these stories, when I watch these stories on television. You know, when I was doing the homeless drives, when I was getting up Saturday morning, I haven't did it in a very long time. Shame on me. I need to find a new homeless drive to start going to. But when I was doing the homeless drives, when I was getting me and the kids up and we were getting up early and we was going down underneath the little bridge down there, and passing out, I really, it's just, to me, I'm the type of person, I have to have a solution. It can't just be, oh, I'm giving them toiletries, I'm giving them food, and that's just enough. But what about when they run out of that stuff? That's me. That's my thinking, my thought process. It just continues to, and I don't know, that may be everybody. It just continues to bother me. And that's how I feel. So I think that's where she got it from. I just want to save the world. I want a huge house to just bring in everybody.
You also got to know that
all the kids that are getting abused.
Some of these people are homeless by choice. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
You got to know that some of these people are homeless by choice. A lot of these people are transient for a reason. Some people just don't want to be responsible, not even responsible. Some people just don't want to be, they want to live on the outside. They want to be one with the nature. And I feel like that's okay. But when you got the homelessness who are rummaging through the trash cans and the things of that nature, then I feel like, yeah, that's something that we could fix or try to fix. But a lot of these homeless people have services. A lot of these homeless people get food stamps. A lot of these homeless people get TCA. A lot of these homeless people have the services that they need. Some of them just don't want it. They just don't want to take it.
Right. I can understand that. Like a lot of veterans and things like that, they, they fought the war, and I hear that a lot. They don't want the handout. So I can understand from that perspective. But I don't know. I feel every time, it's just like every time I hear a story about, these kids, like the two recent stories.
It do make you want to save the world. It do. Meaningful suffering till 2070. Okay. That is an interesting name. I know it's some people who are homeless by choice. I am not joking. I swear I know a few people who are homeless by choice. I watch a lot of the stories on there's this one guy on Facebook who does I cannot remember his name. He's a white guy. He goes around Skid Row and he talks to a lot of the homeless people that are on Skid Row. And it's on Facebook. It's like little short videos. It's maybe about 30 minutes long. Not. I don't even think it may be that long. It might be 20 minutes. But he goes around Skid Row and he does videos on the different type of homeless people. You got the working girl, the prostitute, the drug addicts, and all that. And a lot of those people are like, I'm out here by choice. There's this one lady who lives on Skid Row and has this really nice tent set up, and she lives there by choice. A black lady, I think they call her like mama or something. She's like how can I say? She's like an advocate for homeless people because she's homeless, and she said she would rather live on the street than to go get an apartment because she has a really nice space on the sidewalk in LA where she got water. She got little those barrels. She has barrels. She has barrels for water. She has a TV. She has a microwave. She has all of these different things. She has it all, and it's like she has all of these different things. She has a lot of stuff set up out there where as though if you look at her, you'll be like, you homeless? Yeah, I'm homeless. She keep herself up. She keeps food. It's a lot of people that are living out here. And even on TikTok, listen, I tell people this all the time. TikTok is my go-to for anything. Go on TikTok and Google, just go on TikTok and search Skid Row. And you will see the different stories of the different people who rather be homeless than to go get an apartment or even want an apartment. I'm telling you, in LA, yeah, you got, and maybe sometimes here in Baltimore too, you got people who would rather be homeless.
I can see that in New York.
A lot of people can't even afford to live where they are. And to be honest, we are all one step away from being fucking homeless. We really are. We all are one step away. But yeah, you literally have people who are out here homeless by choice, and I'm not joking with you. They would rather be homeless because it's free living.
Well, it's the same.
They get free shit.
Well, if you think about it, it's the same as girls. It's the same. I'm not going to say girls. Let me take it back for somebody get offended. When you see, I'm going to say girls because you specifically say I do specifically hear that a lot. Girls, it's the same as these girls out here that have babies so they can get welfare. It's because they don't want to work. Mm-hmm. It's the same as girl, people in general, men and women that just don't want to work, because I've heard somebody physically tell me, why would I go get a job when I can pay $50 a month for public housing? I get food stamps and I can get a check. I physically heard somebody tell me that.
My dad, when I went to go visit my dad in Oakland a couple months ago, he was telling me that a lot of them homeless people, you will literally see a homeless camp, and outside the homeless camp, you will see BMWs, you will see Mercedes, you'll see cars. A lot of these people are homeless and have cars and have things that they want, wearing Gucci and all this, being homeless. Homeless people are here on this earth because of their parents. They were brought into a terrible world without their consent. Reproduction is unethical. What do you mean by reproduction is unethical? What do you mean by that? They were brought into this terrible world without that. We were. All of us was brought into. Every individual on this earth was brought into this world without our own consent. We were. Now, what you choose to do with your life and how you choose to go about your life is up to you. That is your choice. Because I know a lot of people who got kicked out at 13 and 14. Some of them, when they turned 18, they figured life out for themselves. A lot of them didn't choose to go down that road, and you have a lot who did. You have a lot of people who did choose to go down the wrong path. You have a lot of people who, you had a lot of kids who decided to do drugs and just say, all right, fuck it, I don't want to live with my parents no more. My parents kicked me out because I have a drug habit. You have a lot of different reasons as to why some people are homeless.
And came from a great background.
Came from an amazing background. Amazing background.
I can say that I've seen those shows. I can say that there are a lot of kids that you see, a lot of kids that come from suburban areas, and they just decided they don't want to, fall under their parents' rules. They don't want to listen to their parents' rules. They think they're grown, so they decide to take their stuff and go out and leave. And so it's not always the parents. I don't want to say it's always the parents. From my own personal situation, I mean, if you really want to dig deeper, let's talk about, the kids that the juveniles that, the parents have to take them to court and say, I can't deal with them. I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to work. I'm trying to do this. And they just keep getting in trouble. It's not necessarily the parent. You can be the greatest parent. You can provide the greatest lifestyle. You can provide, a lifestyle where your child don't want for nothing. But I mean, realistically, they're going to make their own decisions. If there are so many kids that just up and say, you know what? No, I don't want to do this, because they trying to tell me what to do. My parents trying to tell me what to do. They're trying to tell me how to live. They're trying to tell me how to eat. You running my life. So they decide to get up and leave. You can't necessarily always blame the parents. Every situation is different.
I think that a lot of people, when we see homeless people, we just automatically think the worst. Why impose suffering and death upon someone without their consent? I'm assuming you don't have kids, meaningful suffering. I'm assuming you don't have children, or you don't want children, or you never thought about having children. Because I don't think that we are, if sex was painful, there would be no humans. People are thinking about the consequences of people are not, but some people are. Some people are thinking about the consequences of unprotected sex. Some people are having unprotected sex with the hopes of reproducing.
Right. We talked about that in previous shows. Some people, it depends on the person's situation. I mean, look how many girls are out here having unprotected sex to keep the man.
I mean, you have married couples you have people who are married who have to have unprotected sex because they want children. So a lot of people don't intentionally birth their children into a world of suffering and death, so to speak, as you said. A lot of people don't intentionally reproduce for that reason. A lot of people reproduce with the hopes of the fact that their child will be, they want to have a family, and they hope their child will grow up to be someone successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's get into this next topic.
If people are thinking about the consequences of unprotected sex, then they would be inside. Why would you say that? Well, why would you say that? I don't really think that people are thinking of the consequences of reproductive sex other than the fact that they want a kid. Unprotected sex other than the fact that they want a kid. I think that everybody who has unprotected sex knows the risk, especially when it comes down to STDs and things of that nature. People have unprotected sex for several reasons. But most of it is, some people do it so that they can reproduce. So I'm not really understanding what that means. Mm-hmm. True. I don't know. But let's go on this next topic. I don't know.
All right. I can't see.
This next topic
is
the long jumper Sarah Davis Woodhall stripped of her national title after testing positive for cannabis.
This bothered me. So, because this is the second time I'm seeing this. This bothered me a lot. And I feel like I was thinking about, when I saw that, I was thinking about Sha'Carri Richardson, how she got banned from the Olympics for testing positive. But the white girl, Camilla, I don't know how you pronounce her name, Valavia, it's Valivia or something like that. She competed in the same Olympics after testing positive for the same drug.
Mm-hmm.
That's what bothered me, because I feel like when we look, when I saw this, it took me all the way back to when we were talking about Alexis and the comments and everything that was going on about her, because she was making the little hand gesture to the other girl. It just keep taking me back, because I feel like when we winning.
Who did you call her girl? Her name is Angel.
Angel. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about
that girl Alexis.
I'm thinking about her teammate. Her teammate name is Alexis. I forgot her last name. Her teammate name is Alexis. I'm so sorry. So
are you sure about that?
Yes.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I'm about to pull it up.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, because she was the one that made the comments talking about she wasn't going to the White House. I'm about to pull it up, because you ain't.
Angel Reese was the one that made the comment about she wasn't going to the White House. But I get what you're saying. I'm not understanding why in 2023 is this a problem, especially when you have sports like the NBA and other sports who are coming and saying like, hey, listen, we're not even going to test for marijuana anymore. Marijuana is so legal now everywhere. Why are y'all testing for this? I never really understood the context of why they felt like they needed to ban her or strip her of her title. Especially when you have these other sports who are dropping essentially their drug testing for marijuana. Of course, they're doing drug testing for other drugs, but marijuana, like, be fucking for real. Who the fuck don't smoke? I mean, I don't smoke weed, but who don't smoke weed nowadays? You who don't? But you know, I don't understand the context behind it. Huh? I don't really understand the context behind it.
That because we black and we winning. That's how I feel.
Right, exactly. I don't smoke weed either, but 90% of the people, there's a great percent of population out here that smokes weed. Hold on.
I feel like when we winning, I'm sorry, I did get the name. The other girl was
Angel Reese, the one that said she wasn't going to the White House.
But yeah, I don't know where I got the daggone other name from. I'm tripping. Anyway, but yeah, I feel like when we are excelling in something, they try to pull us back. And not to say it's not necessarily her fault because she did smoke, but it's crazy. Why? I don't understand why we are being barred and banned when they making it legal in so many states.
Right, it's legal everywhere. It's even about to be
everywhere.
Legal here in Maryland, July 1st. So you're gonna see dispensaries popping up left and right July 1st. You're gonna see so many people smoking weed walking down the street like they don't already do it now anyway. But it's gonna be one of those things.
Here's the thing: I feel like they treating marijuana like steroids.
And then they made her take a substance abuse program, which was like, what? Although she completed the program, the USADA still disqualified her from all competitive results obtained in subsequent to February 2023, including a forfeiture of many medals, points, and prizes. I'm not really understanding why though.
Because I feel like they are treating.
And I'm just gonna read some of the comments, but go ahead, I'm listening.
I feel like they treating marijuana like steroids. Marijuana has no effect on a person's better performance. It is not scientifically proven that marijuana has any effect on a person's performance as like the same, like in the same category as you put in steroids. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like you put I feel like you put in the same category of steroids. What is marijuana? What is the harm and foul? And she ain't high on the court. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you a question. Would you be comfortable with your son's teacher coming to school smoking weed after smoking weed in their car?
That's what I was getting ready to say though. She was.
Yeah, I would.
It ain't like she was.
Because this is why I say I would.
So you're comfortable with someone teaching your child
Let me finish.
Your child's pediatrician with weed in their system.
Let me finish. You don't know. Let me finish. You don't know why the person is smoking marijuana. Everybody don't smoke weed to just be high. Some people smoke weed for medical reasons. You have people who have medical cards. Kia's mother has a medical card. She uses her. You ain't gonna put my mama out there. But I'm saying she uses her for medical reasons. She has MS. You have teachers who have MS. You have people who have Parkinson's. So you have people who have these issues who uses the marijuana to calm them down, to stop them from having certain episodes. My sister is in the tech world, and she's a damn good tech person, and she smokes weed for her epilepsy because it keeps her from having these seizures. You don't know why people are smoking weed. So they're not just smoking weed to be high. They're not your regular dope boy. You have professionals who you don't even know if your pediatrician is smoking crack. You have doctors who smoke crack and you don't even fucking know they smoking crack. You got lawyers who come to work. Look at the lawyer coming to work with his crack pipe in his pocket. You don't know. So just because you don't smell that on them, you can't really physically smell crack unless you know how crack smells. You don't know. The person can't walk up to you. You can tell they high off of crack. You can, for some of us who's experienced that, you can, but other people you can't. So for me, letting a teacher or letting a doctor smoke weed because they have a medical problem is what I agree with.
Case, that's just like you taking medication, and you should have. But we know just as many people who have a marijuana card, and they don't have any of those things. They just wanted to be able to smoke and do what they wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So I understand if it's for a medical purpose, that's the purpose of the medical card, not to just be able to smoke whatever you want. I know plenty of people who are getting a hookup right now and getting a marijuana card, but it's simply if you're a part of somebody's structure. And these sports organizations are privately owned organizations. They're not nonprofits. They're not publicly funded organizations. They are private. So they get to set the rules in terms of what they want in their organization. And as an athlete, you cannot just say, I can smoke weed and I'm good. I know plenty of people who smoke weed and think that they're functional, and they're just as dumb.
Yeah.
And not meaning stupid, but dumbed out.
I know plenty of people who don't smoke weed and their brain cells are fried, honey.
Right, and you can't chance that. You can't say, well, in this situation, it doesn't affect them. And so you have to make blanket rules, because what if that person does? They're in the middle of a game, and they're running all into people because they high.
Well, I feel like that about the NBA. The NBA has now taken
so that
weed off of their thing, so they running up and down the court high.
Everybody.
Exactly. I feel like letting them players run up and down the court high, and they don't smoke weed before they came to the game, and they out there playing basketball. Some people are their best self when they high.
Right.
Some people are. Some people are very much their best self when they're high. Some people
are that's not the majority. I wouldn't say that's the majority.
That's not the majority. Though. No, it's not. It's not.
So they have to then make rules.
I tell people all the time, I don't understand why y'all smoke weed, because I don't want to smoke weed to go to sleep. I don't want to smoke weed to go to sleep, to wake up to smoke weed to go to sleep again. I don't want to do that. I can say if I'm smoking it for my insomnia, but y'all smoking weed all day to go to sleep all day. I'm confused.
But that might not be her issue. That may be her issue. It may be as simple as she just may have anxiety. It may be that simple. She may just have anxiety. I can tell you from my own personal experience.
But it has to be something.
And anxiety, for me, it works. Those medications that they give me, I use those medications, I still get fidgety, I still get antsy, I still get a worry, I take the medicine, but then I use the medical marijuana, and it balances itself out. It balances itself out. It calms my nerve, it calms my brain, because my brain is doing this. This is my brain the whole time. And that, when you have that going on every freaking day, it can be overwhelming. It can break you down. It can make you just want to do nothing but go up in the bed, put the blanket over your head, and just go away. Just try to disappear. So it just also depends on what her experience is. She may just have something as simple as anxiety. Maybe she has anxiety when she runs. When she runs, she may have anxiety from competitions, from competing, things like that. I don't think it's as big as they're making it out to be. Again, I feel like they're making
It's
marijuana
not. But there had to have been people who abused it. It's
true.
because on these are, if you go back into their rules, a lot of these rules were not in place at the origin of many of these organized sports.
Right.
But somebody abused it. So now I have to make a rule. Somebody went through a windshield one too many times. And now it's law that you have to wear your seatbelt.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to stop, especially as black people, because the only difference between her and the other white girl is we didn't make a story when the white girl got up. But now
Right.
we're mad because they took this girl's, but that was the rules. Did she follow the proper procedures and go to them and show? I mean, you can't just show them your marijuana card if in their rules it says you can't smoke marijuana. And I think
But
that's
I
a
feel like,
problem with our culture today. Like you can't just do what you want to do. There are laws and rules for a reason. Now, if you don't like
I,
those laws and rules, then you need to fight to get them changed and improve, but not just so you can walk around smoking weed when you feel like it.
I understand
but I
from
also
you.
feel like this. If that's the case, then why are they trying to push so hard to make it legal? This is a drug that has plenty of our black brothers and black sisters locked up. Some for years, some for months, some for a lifetime. Why are y'all now trying to push to make this one drug legal? Is it because y'all see the profit? Is it
Right.
because y'all see the money that y'all can make off of it?
Right.
That the government can make off of
That the
it?
government, I was going to say,
Why are y'all pushing to make this one drug legal so bad now? When you have plenty of our black brothers and sisters who are locked up as we speak off of marijuana.
Correct.
But you have to look at it. It's not random people. It's people that look like you and me that fought to get these laws like that. It wasn't just them. They saw that the laws were changing and they began to push it in their favor. Because some of them were the first white people were some of the first people to get their dispensaries and farms and such. But they only did that as they began to piggyback off of people that looked like us or people that were fighting for people that looked like us that was getting in trouble for carrying marijuana or smoking marijuana. But again, we have to stop jumping on top of stuff when it just affects us. And that just means, and I understand, but this young lady has seen countless other black people get into trouble and lose their careers over smoking marijuana.
Exactly.
At what point did she go to, I want to know, and I'm not accusing her of not doing it, but at what point did she go to her league representation and say, hey, I'm suffering with these things. This is what the solution has been for me. Did a doctor, because often the doctor has to write off on
That
it.
part I do understand. That part
So
I do
did the
understand.
doctors write off on it? Did they approve this? Did you take it to your board? Because often you have to take it to your league representation and say, hey, this is what's going on for me. If you're taking medication for a certain reason, then that's what it is. Hold on, I think y'all have a call.
They don't.
Caller. Y'all have a call.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Who was this? Hi. What's your name?
This is Nicole from the Style School. How you guys?
Great. Good morning, Tamika.
Hi. So I wanted to chime in on the talks about the marijuana.
Yes.
Go ahead.
It is so touchy for me because of the government, right? So with the young lady, with the subject that you guys are on, with the young lady tested positive for it, and after seeing what the other young lady went through, I think her name was Shakara.
Sorry.
She definitely should have known better. That's just point blank period. I think it's just nothing else to say. If you wanted to smoke, you should have made sure you did it after you wasn't running no more or wasn't racing. I'm gonna say that. With the government, all they do here in Maryland, and I'm talking about Maryland because that's where we live, they take the money from out of the dealers' hands and they put it into the government's hands. The MET program. That's just to get these people off of these drugs like crack and cocaine or whatever. Yeah, MET does the same thing to these people. It's just a different form of drug.
Yeah.
It's just different. And the thing is, they get paid and they get funded for these programs. With the marijuana, it's the same thing. They want to be able to take it. It's like they did alcohol back in the prohibition days. You know what I mean? It's the government. You can't win when you go against the government because they want to make laws so they can win. We have crooks making up rules and regulations for crooks. You understand what I'm saying? And somebody said, I think you had said it, me. Sometimes people smoke marijuana. You know what I'm saying? Just it's kind of like a dumb thing that they do. Or they just dumb off of it. You know what I mean? And the thing is, I do agree, but I believe marijuana has also probably saved a lot of people's lives, not just in the aspect of fighting cancer. I'm talking about in the aspect of somebody not going out here busting somebody upside their head. Let me smoke a little marijuana so I can chill and relax because I want to go smack the shit out of somebody. I'm sorry, excuse my language, but you know what I'm saying. Alcohol, the real drug that they'll never take away from us is alcohol.
And they bet not.
You know what I mean? And our program I just got finished watching, Snowfall. A lot of people might have watched it. He kept saying that he became a crackhead. No, he didn't. He became an alcoholic. And he was like, there's no way he looked that bad and he was on alcohol. I said, well, you know what? You better find that uncle or that aunt in your family that used to drink heavily and just let herself go. That person in the neighborhood. Everybody not on drugs. They're not on crack. They're not on weed. Alcohol, you can go get a half a pint of Kummer Chaka for $1.68.
Or Taco Bell.
Drugs, whatever kind.
You can get half a gallon of Burnett's. You can get a half a gallon of Burnett's for $10.
This is messed up, if not worse. Off of crack or weed. So, that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
So
thank you for calling in.
No problem.
Have a great day. I feel like I get what she's saying. You have people who can go out here and buy a whole, and I see it every morning. You see it every morning sometimes when I go to work. The fucking people be outside drunk as shit. Some of these bars open up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
6 o'clock. I was getting ready to say that.
You got people outside the bar at 5:45, ready for their head.
I think I went to the what was that bar that Tamika used to work at off of Baltimore Street? I remember we was there one time and she was telling me how early it opened up. And I was like, it opened that early. I didn't know bars like lounges opened that early. Like in the morning time open. But I mean it's just with the proper responsibility you can drink. But you don't want people showing up to work after having a drink. You will look at them a little like, what's going on in your life? But I mean, outside of it being medicinal, I have friends who I think they've survived life up until this point because they smoke weed. But that's a problem. Because if you're not getting, like, medication should not be forever. And it should not be something that you have to always go to. And that's my issue with it. Like, but they've made us, I mean, just like every other medical drug, they've made us a slave to it. So we have to use it forever. But I have an issue with people showing up high. It's a difference when you're using what the TC, what's
The
TBC or
THC, THC,
THC.
THC.
right, where it's medical grade and it's not, you're not simply, I know it's an argument. Some people believe if you smoke it, it's more potent and it's more, medicinal for you. But they are offering drugs where you're not even necessarily smoking it. You might be taking it in a pill form or in a
Right.
cream form, but you're not showing up reeking of weed in board meetings or on the field. Like that's when it gets touchy for me. Are you
That's when it gets touchy.
doing this?
But that's the
That's when it
issue.
becomes questionable.
Is it?
Because
But
there
that's
are other forms of this drug that you can take that doesn't require for you to smell like it or for it to be in your system the same way.
So that's what I'm wondering. Like when it comes down to places to sports like the NBA, what are their plans? Because I know some of these players are going to come to work smelling like weed. Like how are y'all going to? I don't know how. What does that look like? What does that? What
And
does
they're
it?
gonna get fired. They're gonna get
I would
fired.
think
Their
that
contracts are gonna be cut. All that.
I
But
would
they're
think
making it legal. But they're saying like we're not testing for this stuff anymore. We don't care. Smoke all the weed you want.
I would think that they would at least put something in place that as long as you're not on a court, as long as it's on your own time, which that's my argument. I feel like as long as it's on her own time or the other runner, Shakara Richardson, I feel like as long as it was on their own time
But
and they
Shakari had already came out and said that she was smoking weed because she was dealing with the passing of her mother. I believe her mother, one of her parents had passed away. And that's why she was smoking weed to cope with the depression that she was
and
feeling.
that's what I tried to say earlier. You don't know nobody. You don't know people's situation. Would you rather her have smoked? Okay, if she was dealing with depression, would you rather her have smoked weed or would you rather her have started smoking crack or coke or become a cokehead? I mean, what would you rather? Like I said, from my own experience, I've went through, I don't know how many, I'm on my third medication and it's not working. I have to balance it out. But no, I'm not coming on the show high, y'all. Even though Nate try to say I'm high sometimes, I'm not coming on the show.
How will we know if you high or not? We don't know what you like when you high.
Right. I'm not coming. What you say, Nate?
She probably high now. She probably high now, Nate.
I'm not. I would never come on the show
because I think because this I think when people are on the outside, y'all don't think people can tell. Because the assumption is you have control over yourself and you're not off the wall, you're not somewhere munching or heavily sleepy. But as somebody who's never smoked,
and I don't.
I can typically tell when someone is.
Or somewhere scratching, because you know how most people when they smoke certain drugs they get the scratching and shit.
Yeah, and I don't smoke for that reason. I don't use marijuana for the reason of being just high and going to sleep. I use it for to balance my. I balance myself out because I'm telling you, I have real bad anxiety. Okay, like for instance, if I go in Walmart and I get in those lines, like my anxiety is bad. I can't get in Walmart line. I start sweating. What you say?
Huh?
I think we lost him.
But you said you go to Walmart, you what?
Yeah,
no, I'm here. I was at y'all.
Oh, okay. When I go for instance, when I go to Walmart, and I noticed this like a while ago, and I never knew what the reason was that I even had anxiety as bad. I can't stand in. If I'm standing in line for more than 5 minutes, my hands start sweating, my chest start beating fast. Like I genuinely feel like I'm about to pass the hell out, and I don't know why. But I don't know why, and I'm just standing in the line. And I don't like that feeling.
I hear a lot of people, whatever their issue may be and why they choose to do it. I hear a lot of people saying that, and I'm not, because I don't do it. I'm not like, well, you shouldn't do it. That's not where I'm coming from. But I hear a lot of people saying that weed has really helped them kind of either numb or just get through. My question is, what are you doing beyond that? Like, what are you doing so weed isn't the go-to? Because I've seen a lot of people not necessarily because you can't really say get strung out the way you can with any other narcotics, but I have seen it, and where we are now, are you getting it from a random individual? What's in that weed? What are they
Right.
putting
Right.
in there? And then you addicted to
Right.
this,
Right.
or you only can like I've seen people who just can't function without it, and that's a problem. That's not the
Right.
everyday average person. And for you learn how to function with it, so you suffer because somebody just wants to do it recreationally. So
Right.
now on your job, now you have to figure out how to get through this day because now you can't go on your break and do it before work or after work because now they're pissing people because somebody was irresponsible with it, broke
Right.
something or harmed
Okay.
somebody, or
Yeah.
you work in
Came in
finances,
there
fucked
smelling
up the
like
money.
marijuana.
Right. So
I get
yeah,
it.
like I get it if it really helps you, but there are ways to not to use it. And also you have to work with the system. Tamika mentioned alcohol. They made it legal because enough people was like, no, we're not gonna keep going to jail because we're doing something that we like to do. So you have to get up and be a part of the political system that keeps this from being ultimately legal. And just because it's legal, alcohol is legal, but you can't come to work with a fifth of Parmesan, on your
Right.
desk either. I
Speaking
mean,
of
yeah.
speaking of alcohol, going back to Tamika and going back to Black Roses. When it comes to alcohol, when Black Roses was saying, so many of us are, behind bars, so many black, you know, men and women are behind bars for weed, but I'm thinking about just past events. How many people have been arrested for DUIs and are out? Way more than people that get arrested for marijuana. A lot of these
And guess
situations
guess what
you're
each
on.
one of those people but guess what each one of those people have been arrested said to themselves? I thought I was good. I wouldn't say all of them, but a lot of them would have said, and I've heard DUI cases. They all thought they was good. They thought function. That's why I don't enjoy drinking because it takes you outside of yourself.
So yeah.
And everybody has a different tolerance, but
Mm-hmm.
like you think you got control. I jokingly, I think I was talking to one of my friends. I was telling them about my birthday last year. Like I really thought I had laid down and went to sleep.
You woke up, it was the next day.
And I woke up and it was vomit on the floor next to me. I sent random text messages to various people, but I really thought I was like, I got up the steps, I laid down until my cousin was like, no, I slept in the living room because you were talking and you wanted to go out and party.
Yeah, but that all
And
goes
I
into
really thought,
control
and,
too.
and, and I know everybody doesn't have that problem, but
Right.
you said what?
I said right. That's what I was getting ready to say.
It
That
just,
that goes into your
I,
control too.
mhm.
Nate thinking he was ready to go.
I was just sitting here when he said text message. I'm like, I need to see some of the text messages he was using.
I did. I mean,
I don't
people
know
were
what's
calling me
up.
that next day, like, you sent me this, and you
Ooh.
think you have all the control. I'm glad I didn't have to drive myself home because I could barely get into my cousin's truck, but that was just me. But
You
a
and
lot
that,
of people be like, no, I'm good. I'm
You
good.
running that back this year?
you just gotta know your limit. When it comes to
Right.
alcohol, that's one thing for me. I think I've gotten drunk to the point where I could not function. Um, when after my brother passed, like
But you
I
pass
got
the limit
so
once you get to that point.
right. That's what I'm saying. So no, that's the biggest thing for me is knowing my limit. I know when to tell myself. I know when to put that cup down and say nope. I'm nope. I'm done. I don't. And I think I don't know, when it's like it's weird for me because when I go out with friends and things of that sort, everybody's like, "Oh, you done? Oh, you ain't drinking no more. You done and quick." I just know my limit, and I'm just done. That's it. I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to feel. I don't like the feeling that Nate is talking about. I don't like that feeling. I don't want to go home, laying on the bed, and the room is spinning around while my eyes is closed. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That is not a good. Y'all ever been that drunk where you close your eyes, but the whole room is still spinning? Boy, that's when you need to go to the hospital. That is not a good feeling.
You need an IV the next day. You need a whole day to recoup all that.
We just have to have that hard. I think everybody should have that hard conversation with themselves and really understand why do I use this? What is my need for it? Why do I want to do it? And really, it's not just about every issue being about a black issue. Yes, black people have been unproportionately arrested and criminalized because of this one thing. But how many people of those same people destroy their family lives?
Exactly.
And them getting arrested and them, feeling like I got to do this.
When it comes down to conversations like this, I feel like, you got more people who are dead or have died as a result of a DUI than you got more people who have died as a result of somebody driving high. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got people who are out here that are getting drunk to the point where they have to have those breath things in their vehicle to drive. But y'all letting them do this. Like, y'all letting this happen. I mean, I get it to the point where it's like,
blow.
Huh?
I said all they doing is getting their child to blow in the third.
Blow, but sometimes it stops when you stop at a red light. Your car will cut off, and you gotta blow. So throughout your ride or throughout your duration of driving, sometimes your car will cut off, and you gotta blow inside the tube to get where you gotta go. I've seen it happen. I have a couple of friends who have that in their car right now.
But the thing when it go back to Nate and when he's talking about,
guess what? They probably think they fine though. They really probably think that they're good.
They thought that when they were driving. Yeah, they thought that at the time they were drunk.
You're right. I have an uncle that his alcoholism is so bad, he ended up in the hospital, and I've never seen nothing like it. This was in Virginia. I don't know if they do it anywhere else. They literally had to give him a can of beer a day because his withdrawals were so bad. He was in the hospital for something else. It wasn't related. It wasn't alcohol related. He was in the hospital for something else. But they literally, because his withdrawals, they thought they didn't think he was going to make it because his withdrawals were so bad. They literally had to give him a can of beer.
A can of beer a day.
A can of beer a day. I've never heard anything
it's
like
a painful thing to watch.
It is very
painful. A painful thing.
Very painful. That and
if you've ever seen somebody dying from it.
He is. He to the point where and he's our age, but to the point where we went to the family reunion last year. We went to the family reunion. And that's the first thing I told my friends when they went with me to the family reunion last year. I was like, hey, I got one uncle. Just don't pay attention to him. He be out of it most of the time. He don't know. And it's sad that I have to let people know, ahead of time. Don't take nothing by. Don't be offended. Just kind of stay your distance. And it's crazy. I'm going to tell you the funniest thing. I had told my homegirl, I went out to the car. This is the same uncle. I went out to the car to get something out of the trunk because we stayed in a villa. It was a section of villas, and we all were staying like next door to each other. I went out to the car to get something, and my uncle now, this is my uncle, he screamed out, hey girl, what's your name? Who you with? I said, oh my God, it's me, your niece. And he's the same age as us. Like, I had to tell him, like, it's me, your niece, kid. Like, what are you talking about, Uncle Edra? Oh, said his name. I'm so sorry. But
that's a painful thing to see somebody die from.
I knew.
Especially when they're in like it does so much to your body.
Also,
even in death, somebody who dies from severe alcoholism is just it's harmful. The embalming fluid doesn't even take in your body because the alcoholism has done so much damage to your insides. Like
I definitely
I've
think that
seen family
gonna
members pass away, and they got to keep embalming the body because it
happen.
won't stick because of the overconsumption of alcohol.
Mm. What was you
Listen,
going to say, Black
alcohol
Rose?
taking over a lot of people's lives. I worry about one of my friends who I know drinks on an everyday basis. I know this for a fact. Now, whatever this person might be dealing with or whatever they might be combating, I don't know. But so many Black men don't want to get help or get therapy. So they want to keep saying they don't have a problem, but they lean to alcohol as an everyday use and don't know that they have a problem.
That's their therapy. That's how they get therapy. They numbing the pain.
Alcohol is as bad as I think alcohol, depending on how much you use it, I think it falls in the same category as being addicted to crack or cocaine or something like that. It's hard. It's hard to I've seen some people, for example, my uncle, it's hard. It can be hard for some people to get past that. For them to heal from that. And I think some people it's really hard.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Flight? It's one of my favorite movies. It's called Flight, and it has Denzel Washington in it. And he plays this drunk
He's the
drunk
pilot.
Yeah, who he doesn't crash the plane, but he prevents the plane from crashing, if that makes sense. Well, helps the plane eventually crash, but the way he landed the plane in the crash kept a lot of people from dying. So, but the only thing that they could see was he was drunk.
And that's a real that was a real person.
And then
that's what I was getting ready to say. I was getting ready to say that, Nate. I thought that was based on a true story.
Really?
It was based off of a real person.
Wow. Yeah. But I felt like the only thing that they could see was the fact that he was
like that accident actually really happened.
Yeah, not the fact that he saved all of these lives, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 people, or three or four people who actually died. But he saved these lives, and the only thing that they could think was, you're a drunk. You're a drunk who saved lives, but yet you're a drunk. And even though the plane had its own mechanical issue, it had nothing to do with him. He didn't do it. It was just the fact that he was a drunk, and they wanted to pin it on somebody, and they pinned it on him basically.
Because, and I think part of it was, if you wasn't such an excellent pilot, that alcohol could have affected your ability to save those people's lives. That's what that in the prosecution in that movie, that's what they were trying to say. Like, yes, you saved these people's lives, but that alcohol what if you'd have had one more drink? That could have been the difference between you being able to safely do that. But his argument was, I've been drunk all the other times. And that's my issue with marijuana, because now it's getting to a point of dependency for so many people, because now it's a cultural, a social thing. We're doing it in the pandemic. If that was one of the contributing factors that people were complaining about. Like, people were still sharing weed with each other, even in the middle of a pandemic. And that's, saliva to saliva.
Yeah.
But people are so dependent on it now, like alcohol. Yeah.
People were still sharing cigarettes.
People were so dependent on it, and it just didn't. I don't think people see how the dependency is growing for it. And there's nothing wrong if it helps you, but if that help becomes lifelong, we need to say that that's a problem.
Right.
Somebody has a problem.
That was weird for me when I would go places and people would sit there during the pandemic. Like, you want it? Hell no, it's COVID. You better go. So I got my own. Why would you even?
With their mask on, they still sharing weed.
And they were still sharing cigarettes too. Don't forget that.
Alcohol too.
And that's another addicting agent.
Cigarettes.
That's still another addiction. I mean, everything has turned into a vice for people. Food, sex, alcohol, credit cards. Like, everything has turned into a vice. And we
shopping, hoarding. People are hoarding. Right. You got people who are hoarders. You got people who do a lot of things that is an addiction. Addiction is more than just drugs and alcohol. Gambling, social media.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people who have addictions to different things. And addiction is just more than drugs, alcohol. Addiction can be a multitude of things.
Absolutely.
And it's not always fair to say, well, I eat chicken all the time, but I'm not smoking weed. I'm not alcoholic. Your vice is just as strong in your situation as that person's vice. Nobody woke up saying, I want to be a crackhead.
Nobody,
I'm thankful that I've been able to see a lot of these vices acted out in my family life, in my circles, because it really prevented me from doing or trying a lot of stuff. Because I was like, no. I have a family member who is heavily addicted to drugs, and they never did drugs their whole life and waited till they was 40 something to try it. And I'm like, what the fuck was going on with you that day? Like, what happened that day?
Like, what made you wake up and say you want to smoke crack today? Like, you just woke up and said you want to try crack today?
Right, but you never know. Like, somebody could go through their whole life and never suffer with depression, and then one major event happened, and now they depressed. And
it's kind of
how they deal with it is...
It's kind of like health problems when stuff can lie dormant, and it takes one thing to trigger that, and then dang, there it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. And then it just unfolds, and you have no control. That's why I don't judge people for going through mental health breaks or going through certain things, and people quick to call somebody crazy or to shut somebody out because they're going through, but you don't know, and often we don't know what we've contributed to that person having those episodes.
We sure don't.
So I don't judge people for their marijuana. Then, like, the reason friend going into the school, and and chilling, and I would just notice they were just a little different. And when he told me he was like, I was like, how were you teaching somebody's child today?
This was one of your teacher friends?
They would be so numb.
This is one of your teacher friends?
Who have a certain... We wondered why, his class was always rowdy, because he didn't... And
Okay.
Your phone keep going in and
I know other teachers who smoke before they go, and sometimes during the day, but it doesn't affect them the same way.
I had a teacher when I was in when I used to go to school in Mississippi and here actually, who used to drink every day. He would drink all day. He was a drunk. Two white, both of them ironically were white guys, and they kind of look alike now that I think about it. They were drunks.
There's a lot of teachers that drink
drunk. They would have their bottle in their can. And I ain't gonna lie, when I used to work at Easy Pass, we used to drink on Fridays. We would bring our little bottle. Everybody go get their little container, their little thermos, or whatever you want to put your drink in. And you better watch your liquor, bitch, because you ain't gonna be going off on no customers or no supervisor. But we would do that every Friday. Somebody would pick a day. So one Friday, somebody would bring Hennessy, somebody would bring some sangria, somebody would bring some wine. We would do that. We would do it. And then leave there and go to happy hour.
Where was y'all supervisor?
I was the supervisor.
Go to happy hour.
I was the supervisor. And then my boss
I'm afraid of
was in on it.
My faculties. So I don't even like taking pain medication. I don't like being outside of myself.
I don't either. I will suffer with whatever pain I'm dealing with because I don't even like taking Excedrins or Tylenols or anything. But give me an ibuprofen 800. Lord have mercy. I don't know where I got this cough. I don't know why I got this back on. But give
Be
me an
careful
ibuprofen
drinking.
800,
Be careful
baby.
taking them. That's not good for your blood.
Don't they tell like the lining of your stomach up or something?
I heard that they're not good. Well, my doctor told me stop taking them. It can affect your he didn't say it can make you anemic, but it can affect your blood in a way.
Thin your blood.
But yeah, I don't see it.
I'm sorry, yo. I keep coughing.
Is it like a blood thinner? Like it thins your blood out?
I think it does something like that to your blood, but he said it's not good. Like if you anemic or you have certain issues, it's not good to take ibuprofen. Like Tylenol.
Really?
Advil is just candy. That's candy at this point.
At this point, it does nothing for me.
Oh, that's sugar that's in that pill. Yeah, Aleve is like ibuprofen.
And really, that's the only thing. I can't take Tylenol, stuff like that. I can only take Aleve. But I have a high pain tolerance. Like I'm like, yo, I hate taking medication for pain. I'll sit there and try to see how
I don't understand why they have these drugs. Like I get it, a lot of it is to help with pain and things of that nature, but y'all prescribe these people with these same perks and these oxys and all of these different opioids, and then they start developing an addiction. And you got to realize this really, to me, and I'm gonna be honest about me, my opinion, I really feel like it started with the middle-aged white women going to the doctor and getting their Xanax and their, Percocets and all of these things to keep them high. And we would joke about it, but now that it's becoming a crisis, and now that the kids are getting into it, and they doing the Xanny bars and whatever, they doing all the drugs, and it's like now it's a crisis, and it's coming back to the white community. Now it's like, oh, it's a thing, it's a problem.
That's the
where it started there. That's where one of the places started.
That's where it originated. It originated with the white housewives going to their doctors and getting their Xannies and taking their pills and passed out on pills all day.
And their kids got into their cabinet. That's how.
And their kids don't want to got into the cabinet.
I'm big on dog whistling in terms of. And for Black people, we have to start speaking up when we have bad experiences with doctors, like not just going off on them, but reporting them. It is I just went through a whole ordeal with a dentist who did not believe somebody my size could feel pain. And he eventually he said it. And had I not reported him, I would have been in trouble with my insurance company because he was overcharging me as well. But
what was his race?
He did not want to give me any more Novocaine. Not Novocaine, but the I forgot what you call it. When they stick the needle into your gums.
It's
like
Novocaine,
he felt like I was lying. And it kept wearing off. It was wearing off with me.
Oh yeah, it is.
Right.
No, it's Novocaine.
It's a couple different kinds, because sometimes they do it, you can breathe it in, or sometimes they'll give you the shot.
Oh, the gas.
And for me, I kept getting the shot. Yeah, I don't like the gas. I don't like how it made me feel. But he didn't believe I was in pain. And many doctors will do stuff like that. And I never reported him until the last minute. And he had already built up a case against me, saying I was very rude and I was belligerent and I was just trying to get pain medication. Now, he would not give me more of the shot, but he was willing to give me a narcotic to go home with.
Wow.
And I kept telling him, I don't want that. I don't, that's not what I don't want to be home knocked out somewhere. I live alone. I don't feel comfortable like that. And so I had to end up reporting them. But we have to normalize really reporting these doctors, and don't feel like you're just being petty. If you've had a real experience where a doctor has denied you medication or did not believe you when you had certain symptoms, report them. And reporting them makes them do their job, because they're able to get a couple warnings. And then they have to go up for review if they get a certain amount of warnings. But if we all would report them, and not just black people, but women,
Not just black people,
special
women too.
populations of people, report them when you had these bad experiences, because some people don't always say anything, and it's really not a great thing, when someone is able to continue to treat new people like this. But yeah.
I hate when we as black women have to go to these different doctors and they asking us, well, what is your pain level? And it's like, why do you care? Because you're gonna take my 7 and make it a fucking 4.5. You're gonna take my 10 and make it a 2.
Yeah.
You don't believe us, and I don't understand where that came from. But
That's
do
why they
kind of
often
understand
make
a lot
you
of
wait
people.
too. That's why they often make you wait.
That's why people tell you when you go to the emergency
Because
room, let them know. You tell them you got chest pains.
it's the
Because
same.
that could, tell them you got chest pains when you go. Where you hurt it in my chest?
Why you say that? I missed it. My phone cut out because it overheated. Why you say that?
Because the doctors don't believe us when we say we are in pain. When we're telling doctors that, especially for black women, when they ask you what's your pain level, and you tell them it's an 8, and they reduce it down to a 3 or 4. I don't know why or where that stems from, but they feel like black women are not as in pain as we say we are.
From our history.
Yeah.
You gotta think about it like that. From our history, bearing kids and things like that.
Mm-hmm. But what's the next topic?
That was it. That's all we had.
Can't be. We had something else. It can't be.
That was it. That's all we had.
Okay, well, forget it then. Shit.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. Like, I can't say. You want to say don't do drugs, but just think about how many don't do drugs campaigns we seen in our childhood, and we still end up doing drugs.
Absolutely.
A lot of people still ended up trying drugs. Like we
but
said
no,
that
now a lot of that. But you got to think about it though. Now, in terms of like medical side, a lot of doctors are prescribing it. Are prescribing the drugs. They're prescribing you to take, do the medicinal marijuana and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. At some point, you're gonna have to take a drug in your life. Either it be for pain, it be for high cholesterol, it be for diabetes. At some point, you're going to have to take a drug in your life. It had it be for going to the dentist like Nate and getting a Novocaine 15 times and it's not working. At some point, you.
No, I mean, but if you're in the middle of getting your wisdom tooth pulled, or you're, getting, like, I'm getting dental work, I'm getting implants put in, and it is like the dentist has never been a comfortable feeling for me.
But I'm scared of
me either.
If I'm in, but you're not believing me that I'm in pain sitting in your seat, but you send me home with a narcotic as my pain reliever. And not just a regular, pain pill, but something that you can't just go to any pharmacy and get filled. They got to get special write-off for you to even get this. Like, I don't want something that strong.
What race was he?
He was Hispanic, actually.
You even have the ones who can't even go into like CVS or nothing and buy Sudafed over the counter, because if you buy too many things of Sudafed, they're gonna flag you for trying to make meth.
Yep.
What? I didn't know that.
Girl, you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I don't take Sudafed anyway.
You gotta give them your ID to get some Sudafed, girl. You just can't go in the counter and get that stuff off the, go in the store and get it off the shelves. You gotta get them your ID.
I just got some Sudafed from Walmart a couple months ago.
But
definitely here you gotta get them your ID.
It depends on what area you live in, because in some areas the medication is out on the floor. In some areas you gotta ask for it. So depending on what area you live in, you may not have to deal with that.
Speaking of on the floor, we can make our last topic. Have y'all seen these? They're doing some Targets now, like the Walmarts, where they're locking up everything. Have y'all seen that?
Of course, people be stealing left and right out of Target.
Yep.
People be stealing left and right.
But somebody made a valid point about it, though. Somebody was like, somebody made a statement. When other people were joking about it, like, yeah, it just depends on what area. And some people were just offended, like me, myself, and I. If I walk in a Walmart, I never forget the one down there on Washington Boulevard. I don't go in that Walmart. I am not about to sit there and find somebody for everything that I need. I'm not about to do it. I can't do it.
Yep.
That just broke my nerves. That will bug my eyeballs out. If I got to go find a person for everything I need, and then the Walmart down in Perry Hall, their whole, or is it the Wal? No, I'm sorry, it's the Walmart on Pulaski Highway. Their whole personal hygiene cosmetic section, you have to pay for it in that section. You can't even go up to the counter anymore. And so this is what boggles me. That I put the item down because I was irritated, because you telling me I have to pay for this, but then I still got to go to the regular counter and pay for the rest of my stuff. So I'm making I don't got time for that.
But that's how they treat people that live in certain areas.
I
And
like
that
that.
becomes, and I didn't grow up accustomed to that. So if I moved to an area like the area I live in now, most of the stores didn't. It wasn't like that. And in the last couple years, the CVS by my house, you gotta ask for permission to get the deodorant. You gotta ask for permission to get the soap. You gotta ask for permission to get cleaning supplies or the air fresheners, and
Or even
you got
the dish, not the dishwashing soap, but the
detergent. The clothing
detergent.
detergent.
Right.
Yeah.
But the point that the person had made while everybody else was complaining, like myself, the point that they made was that people are concentrating on the negative about it. But did you ever pay attention that just tells you how high the homeless rate in that area is?
But it's
I
not
don't
the
think it
home.
has
It's not
anything
just
to do with
homeless.
homeless. I think it got
Right.
something to do with people just downright stealing and trying to get money.
Yeah.
You got,
And
because it could be a
often,
person, it could be a regular schmegular Joe like me, you going in there stealing shit, and
yeah.
then going outside to sell it to get $1 or $2 to get something to eat. You don't know.
Or
It could
just
be.
taking it because you just don't think you can pay for it. I went in a store with, I never forget it. And I don't.
You got to think about the rate of thefts that happened during COVID when we had to wear masks. I saw a video on Instagram where a man literally walked in the store with his mask on, put his shit in his bag, and walked right the hell out. People was just stealing to be stealing. You don't know who I am. You don't know what I look like. I got on all this clothes and a mask.
That's true, but at the same time, for people like myself, I can't deal with that. I'm walking right back out the store. I'm not about to sit there.
I'm the same way.
I feel like what you say, Nate?
I said I'm very much so the same way. It's so annoying to me.
It is, and then I feel offended. I feel like that. I mean, it's not
Now
making
now working in, like, I work, the only like department store type of place I've ever worked at was Sam's Club, and you would see people, putting expensive things. That's why they have the receipt checkers, because they will put, and the only thing they're looking for are the high items, and the cashier would get into trouble, because people were stealing. But you'll have somebody who would go through line, pay for their stuff, go sit in like the food court, and then go back into the store and bring something and put it on their cart. You'll have people who do stuff like that. You'll also have employees. I used to work in a cash office at Sam's Club, and you had people that you would watch, cashiers, put the money in the little blue pouches that they need for change. Take that during their break. You'll see them on camera pulling out 20s and hundreds from the little blue pack and putting it in their pocket like nobody's watching them.
I had a manager almost get me fired for that. I was working at Rite Aid up there on Bel Air Road, and it was the manager that was stealing, but she was the one that approached. She was the manager, and my drawer came up short, and she approached, and I had never stole a day in my life, and she approached me, and my boss had got me that job up there, and she approached me, and she was like, "Yeah, your drawer coming up short," and da da da. She makes such a big. I had never had that experience because I've worked at fast food before, and sometimes drawer come up short, and they just take it out of your check. But she made it such a big deal. I went and told my father. He was like, "Well, what happened?" And I told him what happened. I said, she basically said I was fired because my drawer came up short. So my father actually was the one that made a bigger deal about it, like run the tape back. Come to find out, the manager that had made it a big deal when they ran back the tape, she was the one that was stealing. She stole out of my drawer, but she went out of her way to put me on blast, pull me back to the office and everything. It was like, yeah, we're gonna have to let you go. Your drawer keeps coming
That's
up
the
the door.
worst.
And if it wasn't for my father, I would have just been like, all right, whatever, because I know I didn't steal. So if it wasn't for my father, I just would have been like, all right,
girl,
whatever.
you know you were stealing.
I don't got to steal.
But that happens a lot, and that happens a lot in fast food. I remember having a crackhead supervisor, and because I I was so trusting when I was younger. I used to just leave, and they would count your drawer down. And I just told my niece that she's working at a restaurant. I said, don't you ever let them count your money for you, and you're not there. You count it, and you let them count it, and then you count it again. And don't care. They could be like, no, we don't have time for that. Oh well, this is my money. Because if you made a mistake, it's one thing. But I remember he stole maybe like $500 out of my register. And I worked at Popeye, so it was like that was a little bit of money in the drawer. But for him, like to do something like that to somebody who's never gotten in trouble, I was in line to be a supervisor at that moment. That could have messed up my promotion and everything. And then, like you said, they found him on camera at night stealing because they put in an extra camera facing the office, and he didn't know the camera was in the office, and they caught him. He was still like every cashier drawer was coming up short. He was on crackhead time, so they'll just do it until they can't get away with it no more. But count your money. I always tell people, if you're working in customer service, count your money twice, once before and once after they count it. And you don't know whether they sell it. Don't ever leave people with your money.
And if they get offended, so they're going what? Don't sit there and try to play you, because that girl really tried to play me out of pocket. She went out of her way to make sure that everything was on me.
You were stealing.
And she only fired you because she didn't want you to be there and be able to talk up for yourself. Like, I've never been in trouble. No, she wanted to make sure, and she thought you would just go away quietly.
No,
because you was embarrassed.
Up there, my fault. Like I said, if it wouldn't have been for my father, I would have just been like, all right, whatever. But my father made a big deal out of it. I was like, no, we going back up there because I got you this job. So I know the person. I think it was the general manager or something of the store that he ended up talking to get me that job. And he was like, no, because it was because, it falls back on him because he, of course, spoke to the person to get me the job. But yeah, they ran that camera back, found out it was her trifling. So
we don't got your daughter a job and she up here stealing our shit.
It was and that manager, she had been a manager there for a long time. She had been working there, I think, like out of high school. She had been there for a long time.
So she know how to steal then.
She learned the system.
She knew what to do. She learned the system.
She was like in her 30s and she had been working there from like high school.
Yeah.
Oh, she ain't had nothing else to do with her life.
And then come to find out later on, it was crazy because come to find out later on, I started dating one of her siblings and ran back into her again because I didn't know that was one of her siblings.
I'd have banged her ass right at the family function.
Right at the family function.
Whipped her ass.
You stupid.
Bitch, I don't think I forgot. I don't give a fuck if it is 10 years later. I remember her.
That girl, when I came back into the picture, she was like on welfare. Her baby daddy was like, she was just, all that karma just came back to her pretty much. Just put it like that.
And more karma would have came to her because I'd have whipped her ass.
You stupid. Nate, you would have whipped her ass too.
I mean, I had that.
I mean, it definitely would have been a tussle or two. I definitely would have knocked her plate out her hand.
I definitely had. I'm not gonna say who beat him up, but I did have him beat up.
Y'all is wrong.
I definitely would have tripped about
because that's a charge. Like for me, that was $500, and that could have been I could have got a charge for that.
Yeah, my father wouldn't let it. My father wouldn't let it go that far. Yeah, he would have fought that, but yeah, I mean,
wow, he got his ass beat. He still on nobody else register.
Who was the sibling that you dated?
None of your business. Is this the end of the show?
I know everybody that you used to go with, so tell me.
I don't need to tell you nothing.
Tell me who the sibling was, who the boyfriend was, or the girlfriend.
I don't need to tell you. You know what? This show is over.
It probably was that prom date.
It definitely was not.
It was definitely somebody black. It had to be a girl.
Oh, it
It
was
definitely,
black.
it
Yeah.
definitely was
She was
not.
black and was a girl. I gotta figure out who she is.
It might have been
Mm.
the first thing you seen the other week. Like, no, I'm messing with you.
The person I seen the other week though.
I'm messing with you. It
Oh,
wasn't.
could it be her? Could be her.
I'm
Could
messing
be
with
her.
you. It wasn't. It wasn't.
It could be.
Don't
Don't
be
lie to
running
me.
into. Don't be running into my my past flings.
Honey, I started to say, "Hey, my friend, looking for you, girl.
Yeah, don't you do
We
that.
thought you died.
You lost your whole mind. Don't you ever do that.
I'm
Don't
gonna
you
give you
let
her
no.
number. I'm gonna give you her number, girl.
Don't you let
Call her,
no.
honey. She need to talk.
Don't you let nobody in Baltimore that you knew I had acquaintance with let them know any. Don't even give them my social media. Just pretend you
I'm
don't
giving
know
them
me
everything.
walking.
I'm giving them everything.
You better be lucky I don't stay in Baltimore no more, because it'll be a problem for you.
Mm.
I'm giving it to them all.
Anyway,
Anyway,
you know better. But anyway, that's our show.
don't let
guys.
me run into one special person. I'm giving them all the information.
See how friends do you? These are the friends you don't keep around you. These are the ones you watch as enemies.
No, you keep them around because that pendulum swing both ways.
Okay, now we're not going there. Okay, now we stopped it. Okay, now I stopped. All right, now y'all gotta keep going now. See, y'all be doing too much.
No,
I
you
don't like
started it.
You
it.
gotta,
Y'all be doing too much.
you
See, there
started
y'all
it.
go. There y'all go, being extra.
You started it. I mean, you do have more access than everybody to come on the show. But
That's who this probably meaningful suffering person is.
Right. I hate that bitch.
they changed their name just to argue with you.
I know, just to go back and forth with me. Like, what did I do to you? Did I piss in your cereal?
Yeah.
Yes, you did. You did not
He
call
was
them next
upset.
night.
Oh my god!
It was
It
your
talk
one
about
night stand.
reproducing. It don't tell her who it might have been.
It
Ain't
was
no
your
Mhm.
one night. Or who you had a one night stand with recently? Who you
Nah,
ghost?
but I ain't
Who
had
you
no.
ghost? Who you ghost?
I ain't had no recent one night stands. I ain't
Who
even
you
gonna lie.
who you ghost and told them you was a podcast host?
No, but I ain't took nobody nothing.
And they went and found
All right,
you.
that's the end of this show, y'all. We gonna go ahead and get up off of here because this is getting out of hand.
He be running. You don't be running.
This is getting out of hand. We gotta
You
go,
gotta
y'all.
stand your ground.
I'm standing my ground and getting up off of here. That's what I'm doing.
You gotta stand your ground. Don't
Oh, but
run.
Standing my
look,
ground.
look, she came at me with 101% smoke. But as soon as the switch
No.
flipped on her, I got something to do. You just said you ain't had nothing to do in the beginning of the show. Now all of a
I'm
sudden you got
busy.
everything to do.
I'm
Now, all of
busy.
a- now,
It is.
now all of a sudden you gotta go grocery shopping. You
All
gotta
of
pick
a
your
And I'm
sudden.
mama
is.
up. You gotta
And
go
I'm
pick
is.
your sister. You gotta go pick your sister daughter up, take her to the park. Now all of a sudden you got everything to do.
Matter of fact, my niece calling me right now, y'all. I got to go.
Mm.
I ain't messing with y'all today because y'all ain't finna air out my dirty laundry. You know
She
how
must.
KD
She
likes
must.
to do.
I
She
know.
must get phone calls a lot after the show because she be nervous.
She did. Real nervous.
What y'all not finna do is put me out there. That's what y'all not
So I
finna
have
do.
one more announcement. Well, one last announcement. So that Black to the Future event monthly will be start giving out that same grant to
Oh
people who show
yeah.
up. But in for the month of June, those grants will be directed towards youth led either organizations or youth driven entrepreneurs and artists and such. So if you have a young person that you know is deserving of that, please invite them to our June event. And I have the flyer up on the board for the Black Arts District in general. All of that grants that are being given out that month will be directed towards the youth. So that's
Nice.
the image that's up there right now.
Do you have
Um,
to be? Do you
go
have
ahead.
to be based out of Baltimore to apply for those grants?
You do, but I'll talk to you about that after we hang up.
Okay.
So, but that's it. Also tomorrow night, um, I'll post that in their group as well. The young lady Grace that was on the show before from Poets for Dinner, is having her last Poets for Dinner tomorrow night,
Oh,
celebrating her 11th year. It may be coming back. I'm trying to get her to bring back her show. Poets for Brunch was a virtual podcast that I helped her start. So we're trying to get her to come back on, but she wants to finish this portion of the Poets for Dinner first. It's free food. I made the mistake and ran out there last week. Was a week early. It's a nice lounge out in Essex.
Mm.
Um,
Oh, okay. What's the name?
and So that's where it'll be at. I'll post the information in their group and send it to y'all. But if you want to come, it's free food, some poetry, some giveaways, um, and just a lot of fun. Y'all went to her. Was that her 10th anniversary? Um, BlackRoses came to the 10th anniversary.
Okay.
So this is her final one. She's saying she's going on hiatus, but we're trying to get her to come back. But um,
Why she
so
going
come
on
on out.
hiatus? I would love to
It's
know.
just financially one of the things that people have to know, especially with entrepreneurs. Even if we don't ask, we often need support,
Mm-hmm.
and not just in the form of you buying something or just giving us money, but support is necessary. And she was, since she started that, I've been going to that for years, and it was up even before I started going to it when I was in college. But she has been doing this for a number of years out of her own pocket, and it really has, I guess it's taking its toll on her. And
Mm-hmm.
and she cooks the food and she pays for it. So and
Mm-hmm.
it's a free event to get into, and you can come and bring your family and everybody eat. And that's her mission, just to feed people. She's a chef, she's a poet, she's an author. So I'm asking people, if you can come out to support. It's tomorrow night. Doors open up at 5 o'clock. So come on out. Bash Top Blue, I'll be set up there. It'll be a number of other vendors. Um, that'll be also represented there. There's a toy lady that has like the adult toys, and a cannabis infused person that comes with the little snacks and edibles and such. But come on out. And then it's free food. Like, who doesn't want free food?
Who doesn't want free food?
Right.
So
Oh,
All
I
right.
hate to
Well,
see her go because
I
her
know.
event was definitely nice when I went to it. Definitely inspiring. Grace is an amazing person. She does great things for wonderful people. She's a wonderful person, in my opinion.
I mean, the event is a really good. I feel like from what y'all talk about, the event is a really good event. So I don't see why. I think I think eventually she'll end up finding another financial. You know.
it's cool. I've been telling her the same thing, but it's just when
Because
we do stuff, people don't wholeheartedly support it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how you get people who don't want people to tell them what to do and don't want, because for years they've had to struggle and get through things, and you don't want to become hard-hearted, but at the same time, you don't want people just jumping into what you worked hard for and
ex-
trying to change it.
ex-
And not supporting, not coming to volunteer or lend a hand, or just support in general, or just simply telling somebody about it. So you don't want that, but at the same time, we got to find a way to work together and support each other before
Exactly.
our stuff starts leaving.
right.
Mm-hmm. You ain't never lied.
Yep. Like the Santos trying to take Disney World out of Florida. You right.
Yeah.
Want to stay there?
But he just wants to eliminate it because they won't stop having their gay day or
Yeah.
supporting the
Mm-hmm.
LGBTQ
Mm-hmm.
community.
If they take Disney World out of Florida, Florida ain't got nothing. Ain't nobody coming to Florida.
Yeah, Florida, or that's your biggest economic pull, and
Mm-hmm.
That's why he
so
want to take it out because he ain't get no profit off of it.
nope,
He ain't
he
personally get
shouldn't.
no profit out of it, so he's
He
trying
get
to
a
make
paycheck. He get a paycheck once a month. He
all
good.
the deals. And did you see the other one? That's what I really wanted to talk about. I should have brought that up. Where they trying to make it so he can still stay in office but run for
Oh
president.
yeah, when he
He
run
like
for president. Mm-hmm.
ain't never been
Isn't
had
that malarkey?
in
Isn't that
history.
malarkey?
Ain't
Hmm.
never in the history of government, and now all of a sudden you want to make it so you have your seat saved just in case you don't win. Sir, goodbye. Go away.
Malarkey. A bunch of
Yeah,
bull.
that's some Republicans.
Bunch of bull. Mm-hmm. That's them Republicans. You said it.
All right, y'all. Well, that's our show. I'm gonna start my Saturday.
We don't care.
Something. I'm doing something. I might go to the beach today. I don't know. It feels good, but it's
girl, bye. Get off.
I might just take a
Drop her, Nate. Drop her.
I might just go down the street and drive the beach.
I hope a shark bite your ankle. I hope a jellyfish sting your big toe.
Go sit down there with my favorite bug.
Oh my goodness.
Don't leave yet.
Go sit